The night was alive with fury. Rain fell in endless sheets, hammering the roof of Ethan Carter's old Ford like 1,000 fists. Wind howled down the narrow streets, bending the trees until they cracked like gunshots in the distance. Headlights cut through the chaos in weak, trembling beams, barely enough to reveal the rising water that turned every street into a churning river. Ethan gripped the steering wheel so hard his fingers ached. His knuckles were ghostly white in the dashboard glow. The truck shuddered as water surged against its tires, tugging like unseen hands trying to drag it under. Beside him, his daughter Lily clutched her backpack to her chest. She was 8 years old, too young to carry the kind of fear her wide brown eyes now held. Her damp hair stuck to her cheeks, and her voice shook when she finally whispered, "Daddy, are we gonna be okay?" Ethan forced himself to glance at her, even though the road demanded every ounce of his attention. He gave her the smallest smile he could manage. "Yeah, sweetheart. We'll be fine," he lied gently. "We just have to take it slow." But nothing about this night was fine. The Carter family had seen their share of storms. Living in a Midwestern town along the river meant thunderstorms were a way of life, but this was no ordinary storm. It was the kind people would talk about years from now, starting their stories with, "I remember the flood of 2025. Ethan knew they were lucky just to have made it this far. The elementary school where he picked Lily up had already started evacuating families. The main bridge to their side of town had closed an hour ago. And home felt 100 miles away, even if it was just across 3 flooded neighborhoods. He leaned forward, squinting through the rain. The wipers slapped furiously, clearing the windshield for a split second before another sheet of water smeared the glass. It was almost useless. Then, out of the corner of his eye, something shifted in the darkness. At first it looked like debris, maybe a trash can or a log carried by the current. But then it moved differently. Clung. Reached. A hand. "Daddy!" Lily gasped, pointing toward the swollen river beside the road. "There's somebody out there." Ethan's stomach dropped. In the half-light, he saw her clearly now. A woman, clinging to a low-hanging branch, half-submerged, her soaked hair plastered to her pale face. The water fought to tear her away, dragging at her legs like a monster determined to claim her. "Help her, Dad. Please!" Lily cried, her small hands pressed to the window. Every instinct in Ethan screamed for him to keep driving. He had Lily to protect. The truck was already fighting the current, one wrong move and they'd be swept in two. If he stopped now, he risked both their lives. But then the woman's eyes found his through the rain. Gray eyes, wide and desperate, begging without words. He slammed the truck into park. His pulse thundered in his ears. "Stay here," he told Lily, his voice firm but trembling. "Lock the doors. Do not move, no matter what." "But, Daddy." "No arguments, Lily." His tone left no room for debate. He squeezed her hand quickly, trying to reassure her, then shoved open the door. The cold hit him like knives. Water surged into his boots instantly, pulling at his legs with terrifying strength. Each step toward the riverbank felt like wading into a nightmare. The woman's grip was slipping, her fingers sliding along the bark as the current tore at her body. "Hold on!" Ethan shouted, though the storm swallowed his voice. Her head dipped below the surface. Panic surged in him, sharper than the cold. He lunged forward, grabbing for her arm just as she resurfaced, sputtering. Their hands met hers icy and slick, his straining with everything he had. For a split second, he thought he'd lose her. The current yanked them both, and water slammed into Ethan's chest, knocking the breath from his lungs. He wrapped his other arm around the branch, anchoring himself against the current's fury. "Don't let go!" he roared, though his own grip was failing. She coughed, choking, eyes rolling with terror. Ethan summoned strength he didn't know he had, hauling her inch by inch toward the shallows. His muscles burned, his boots slipped in the mud, and he tasted blood where he'd bitten his lip. Finally, with one last desperate heave, he dragged her onto the embankment. They collapsed together, gasping for breath, the storm raging around them like some furious beast denied its prey. The woman coughed violently, spitting up muddy water. Her chest heaved as she rolled to her side, trembling. Her lips moved, but at first Ethan couldn't make out the words. Then he heard it, faint as a ghost. "My boy." Ethan bent closer, rain pelting his back. What did you say?" Her storm-gray eyes fluttered open for just a moment. "My boy," she whispered again. Then her head lolled, and she went limp in his arms. Panic surged in Ethan. He pressed 2 fingers to her neck. There a faint pulse, weak but steady. Relief nearly buckled his knees. With a grunt, he scooped her into his arms, staggering back to the truck. Lily's face pressed against the window, tears streaking her cheeks. She scrambled to unlock the door as Ethan wrestled the woman inside, laying her across the back seat. "Is she gonna die?" Lily asked, her voice small and terrified. "No," Ethan said firmly, though he wasn't sure. "Not tonight." He slammed the truck into gear. "Buckle up, kiddo. We're getting her to the shelter." The drive felt endless. Roads twisted into rivers, detours turned to dead ends. Twice, Ethan nearly stalled the engine in water too deep for his old truck to handle. He prayed under his breath, hands aching from gripping the wheel so hard. All the while, the woman lay unconscious in the back, her chest rising and falling shallowly, her soaked clothes dripping onto the seat. Finally, headlights flared ahead. The high school gym, its parking lot lit by generators and crowded with rescue trucks. Volunteers rushed out, shouting as they saw Ethan's truck swerve in. "I've got one!" he yelled, throwing open the back door. Hands reached in, lifting the woman onto a stretcher. Voices overlapped. She's breathing, pulse weak, get her inside, warm blankets, 4 fluids. Ethan stood there soaked, shaking, watching them carry her away. He wanted to follow, to make sure she was okay, but Lily tugged at his hand. "Daddy, can we go home now?" He looked down at his daughter's tear-streaked face. "Home? Yes. That's all that mattered now." He had done what he could. He had saved her. The rest wasn't his burden to carry. Or so he thought. Because the next morning, when the storm had finally passed and a pale sun broke through the clouds, there came a knock at Ethan Carter's door. When he opened it, the woman stood there. Alive. Dry. Her gray eyes steady now, though rimmed with shadows. And in her arms, she clutched a worn backpack to her chest like something sacred. "Mr. Carter," she said softly, voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "You saved my life last night. But I didn't come here just to thank you. I came because you deserve the truth."